Steve Harris, the legendary bassist and founding member of heavy metal band Iron Maiden, has opened up about his longtime bandmate Bruce Dickinson in a candid interview. But what surprising revelations has Steve Harris made about Bruce Dickinson? Join us as we explore the inner workings of Iron Maiden and uncover the secrets of one of metal's most iconic duos. On Christmas Day in 1975, something special happened in the East End of London. A young man named Steve Harris made a life-changing decision. He chose to follow his heart and start his own band. He named it Iron Maiden, inspired by a movie about the man in the iron mask. The name stuck with him because it also reminded him of an old torture device called the Iron Maiden, a perfect fit for the powerful, heavy music he dreamed of creating. Before starting the band, Steve had been part of a group called Smiler. But when that band fell apart, so did his time with them. Back then, Steve wasn't living the rock star life. He worked as an architectural drafter, drawing up blueprints and plans for buildings. But life took an unexpected turn when he lost his job. To make ends meet, Steve took a job as a sanitation worker, cleaning streets by day. Even then, deep down, his passion for music never left him. When Iron Maiden came to life, Steve didn't just play the bass, he became the heart of the band. He wrote most of their songs and lyrics, giving them the unique sound fans would grow to love. His fast, galloping bass style became a signature of Iron Maiden's music. Songs like The Trooper and Run to the Hills showed off his powerful playing and creative mind. Steve also loved progressive rock, which made him experiment with different rhythms and timings to keep the music exciting and fresh. As time passed, Iron Maiden's songs grew deeper and more adventurous. They became longer, with stories that took listeners on incredible journeys. Steve often drew ideas from myths, ancient history, and his favorite books and films. Battles, legends, and daring quests turned into unforgettable songs. With his creativity, simple ideas transformed into unforgettable heavy metal anthems. In 1979, the band reached a huge milestone when they signed a record deal with EMI. But the road to success wasn't easy. Before this big break, Iron Maiden spent years playing in small pubs and clubs, slowly building their reputation. One of their regular spots was the Cart and Horses pub in Maryland, Stratford. Their very first show took place at St. Nick's Hall in Poplar on May 1st, 1976. They faced plenty of tough times, but their passion for music kept them going strong. Like many young bands, their early lineup changed quickly. Steve made the difficult choice to let go of their first singer, Paul Marioday, because he felt the stage presence wasn't quite right. In his place, Dennis Wilcock joined the group. Dennis was a big fan of the band Kiss and loved putting on wild, dramatic shows using makeup and fake blood. Dennis had also played with Steve in Smiler, so the two already shared a friendship. As years went by, Steve continued to shape the band's music and future. Guitarist Adrian Smith once shared that Steve preferred to work closely with his bandmates, helping to write lyrics and melodies together. This teamwork kept Iron Maiden's music fresh and powerful through the years. Steve Harris didn't just build a band, he built a legend. Thanks to his hard work, talent, and never-give-up attitude, a small band from London became one of the biggest names in heavy metal history. As the band moved on, Steve and Bruce faced some issues. What controversies were faced by Steve and Dixon? What events led to this issue? Let's find out. When Bruce Dickinson first joined Iron Maiden, things weren't as smooth as people might think. Even though he would later become the band's legendary frontman, his early days with the group were filled with challenges, especially with bassist Steve Harris. Both men had strong personalities, and this caused tension right from the start. Their disagreements became so intense that, at one point, it almost turned into a physical fight. Bruce had his own way of doing things. He loved performing right at the front of the stage, where he could connect closely with the audience. It made him feel alive and brought energy to every show. Steve, however, had his habits too. He liked to prop one foot up on a monitor speaker while playing his bass. Without meaning to, this placed him right in Bruce's favorite spot on stage. What seemed like a small detail quickly became a big issue between the two. One night during a show, Bruce noticed that his stage monitors, the speakers that helped him hear his own voice, had been moved to the side. Annoyed, he moved them back to where he liked them, but soon after, someone moved them again. This back and forth game kept happening, and it slowly ate away at Bruce's patience. To claim his space, Bruce decided to bring in a taller microphone stand, hoping it would stop Steve from wandering into his area. But the trouble didn't stop there. During their lively and intense performances, Steve would sometimes accidentally bump Bruce in the face with the microphone. It happened so often that Bruce's teeth were chipped and cracked over time. These weren't just little bumps. They hurt, and they made Bruce even more frustrated. At times, it seemed like their strong tempers might tear the band apart. The disagreements were real, and both men were proud and stubborn. But something important happened along the way. Instead of letting their clashes ruin everything, they slowly learned how to work together. There was a time when Bruce Dickinson, the powerful voice behind many of Iron Maiden's biggest songs, started to feel something wasn't right. Years of endless touring, recording, and traveling had worn him down. What once felt like an exciting adventure was beginning to feel heavy, and to make things harder, his friendship with bassist Steve Harris was falling apart. After a long tour, the band decided to take a short break. Bruce spent his days fencing, a sport he truly loved. When the band came back together to work on their next album, Somewhere in Time, Bruce had fresh ideas. He wanted to take their music in a new direction, maybe something softer, more acoustic, different from their usual heavy sound. But the rest of the band didn't agree. None of Bruce's songs made it onto the album. Steve Harris thought Bruce's ideas weren't strong enough, while Bruce felt like the band was stuck in the past. This made Bruce frustrated and hurt, and it created a quiet storm between them. Even though things were tense, the band moved forward. Their next album, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, turned out to be a favorite for Bruce. It told a story through the songs and gave him a chance to help write again. The album did really well in the UK, though it wasn't as popular in the US. After touring for it, the band took a year off, but the problems between them didn't go away. Bruce and Steve were both passionate and stubborn, and they often clashed. Bruce even admitted that a few arguments nearly ended in a fight. One of their biggest showdowns happened after filming the Number of the Beast music video. Things got so heated that others had to step in before it turned physical. Eventually, they made peace, but deep down, the tension stayed. Things got even harder when guitarist Adrian Smith left the band. Janet Gers joined in his place, and their next album, No Prayer for the Dying, was recorded in a barn on Steve Harris's property. It had a rougher, simpler sound, and many fans felt it didn't match the magic of their older records. Still, there were small moments of joy. One surprising success was Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter. Even though critics mocked it, the song reached #1 in the UK. It was a bright spot in a difficult time. When the band started working on Fear the Dark, the tension was still there. Bruce wasn't happy recording in the barn, even though the album sounded better. It did well, but Bruce's heart wasn't in it anymore. After the tour, he made a huge announcement. He was leaving Iron Maiden to start his own solo career. They still had one more tour scheduled in 1993, and Bruce chose to finish it with them. But it wasn't easy. The fans knew he was leaving, and it made every show feel strange. If Bruce looked too happy, people thought he was faking it. If he looked sad, it brought the mood down. No matter what he did, someone was unhappy. Steve Harris and the other band members grew more frustrated. Steve admitted later that at times he was so angry, he felt like punching Bruce. The band even accused Bruce of not giving his all during shows, especially when no reporters were around. But Bruce always denied this. He explained that it was tough to perform with so much tension in the air. Finally, on August 28, 1993, Bruce sang his last show with Iron Maiden. It was filmed by the BBC and later released as a video called Raising Hell. It marked the end of a very important chapter for both Bruce and the band. It was a hard time, but also a reminder of what happens when passionate people work closely together for years, sharing success, struggles, and unforgettable memories. Even though Bruce left, it wasn't truly goodbye. The bond between him and Iron Maiden was too strong to break forever. After the split, Steve regretted his decision. Why? Also, what brought about Bruce's return? Let's dive in. In 1993, when Bruce Dickinson left Iron Maiden, it wasn't just the end of an era, it hit the band hard, especially Steve Harris. That year was really tough for Steve. Not only did he lose Bruce, but he was also going through a painful divorce. It felt like his whole world was falling apart. Steve even thought about quitting Iron Maiden, the band he had built and loved for so long, but his closest friend in the band, guitarist Dave Murray, stood by him. Dave gave Steve the strength and encouragement he needed to keep going. Even with so much happening, Steve stayed hopeful. He believed Iron Maiden had beaten hard times before, and this was just another challenge to face. After taking some time to heal, he decided to push forward. In the spring of 1993, Steve made an important phone call to Blaze Bayley. Blaze was the lead singer of a UK band called Wolfsbane. They had shown great promise early on and even signed with a big record label. Their first album came out in 1989, and many thought they were about to break through. But things didn't go as planned. Wolfsbane's second album didn't do well, and they lost their record deal in 1991. Though they still had fans who loved them, the band was struggling to find their way and ended up releasing a live album in 1993. Steve first met Blaze in 1990 when Iron Maiden toured with Wolfsbane. Steve was blown away by Blaze's powerful voice and energy on stage and during sound checks. When Iron Maiden needed a new singer, Blaze was near the top of Steve's list. Not everyone in Iron Maiden was sure about Blaze. Some liked his stage presence, but worried if his voice would fit Iron Maiden's unique sound. Still, Steve believed Blaze deserved a chance. Even though times were hard and feelings were mixed, Iron Maiden bravely decided to move forward and welcome Blaze. They took a leap of faith, unsure what the future held. In 1999, something truly special happened for Iron Maiden and their fans all over the world. Bruce Dickinson, the powerful voice who had made the band famous, came back to Iron Maiden. But that wasn't all. Guitarist Adrian Smith, who had left years before, also rejoined the band. This reunion was a big moment, like old friends coming back together to bring back the magic that made Iron Maiden legendary. This wasn't a quick decision. Rod Smallwood, the band's manager, reached out to Bruce first. After talking with Bruce, Rod spoke to Steve Harris, the band's heart and soul. At first, Steve wasn't sure if it would work. Past problems made him doubt, but Bruce's talent, stage energy, and their strong friendship helped Steve change his mind. In January 1999, Steve and Bruce finally met at Rod's house in Brighton. Even though they hadn't seen each other for years, all the nerves disappeared as soon as they met. It felt like no time had passed. They talked through everything, cleared the air, and agreed. Bruce was coming back. With Bruce and Adrian back, the band got busy. They played small shows to warm up, then went into the studio to make a new album. In 2000, Iron Maiden released Brave New World, their first album with Bruce since 1992. Bruce suggested trying a new producer and recording in a different studio. This fresh start was exciting. Steve agreed, and they recorded in Paris with producer Kevin Shirley. Brave New World was a powerful comeback. The band's energy was alive again, and their sound felt fresh but still classic. Their big tour ended with a huge show at Rock in Rio, playing for 250,000 fans. It was a moment to remember. Iron Maiden kept going strong. In 2003, they made Dance of Death in London and toured the world again, sharing their music and energy. Then, in 2006, they recorded A Matter of Life and Death, showing that even after all those years, they were still at the top of their game. In 2008 and 2009, Iron Maiden did something no other band had done. They flew around the world in their own plane, called Ed Force One. Bruce, a licensed pilot, flew their Boeing 757 himself. The tour, named Somewhere Back in Time, was a huge success, and their adventure was captured in the documentary Iron Maiden, Flight 666. Fans got an inside look at life on the road with the band. From 2010 to 2011, they toured again with the Final Frontier album. This album was a big hit, topping charts in 28 countries. Then, in 2014, they returned to Paris to record The Book of Souls, their 16th studio album. Bruce shined as a songwriter, writing two special songs, If Eternity Should Fail and Empire of the Clouds. The latter became Iron Maiden's longest song ever, over 18 minutes. Bruce even played piano on it for the first time. Even after all these years, Iron Maiden showed the world they were still going strong, stronger than ever as a band and family. Beyond Iron Maiden, what were their individual lives like? Where are they today? Stick with us. Steve Harris is the heart and soul of Iron Maiden. His life has been full of amazing successes, but also some deep struggles. In 1993, he went through one of the toughest times. His marriage with Lorraine Jury ended. Lorraine was a psychotherapist, and they had known each other for 16 years. The divorce was very hard on Steve. It brought a lot of sadness into his life, and you can hear that pain in Iron Maiden's 1995 album, The X Factor. The songs on that record tell stories of the hard battles Steve was facing inside, even though no one saw them on the outside. Steve and Lorraine had 4 children together, and family has always meant everything to him. Later, Steve found happiness again with his partner Emma, and they now have 2 children of their own. Even with all the busy life of being a rock star, Steve always makes sure to put his family first. For many years, Steve lived in a beautiful old house in the village of Shearing, Essex. It was a peaceful place surrounded by nature, and he built his own music studio there called Barnyard. This quiet space helped him focus on writing and recording music without any distractions. In 2012, Steve decided to sell this big 9-acre property. After a few years on the market, someone finally bought it in March 2022. These days, Steve loves spending time in the sunny and calm Bahamas, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. Steve is not just about music, he loves sports too. When he was a kid, he dreamed of being a professional soccer player. A scout named Wally St. Pierre from West Ham United, the team Steve cheered for as a child, noticed his talent. Even though Steve chose music instead, he never lost his love for soccer. He still plays regularly with his own team, the Maidonians, and proudly shows off the West Ham badge on his bass guitar. Besides soccer, Steve also enjoys playing tennis and has a big passion for photography. He loves capturing special moments with his camera. In 2012, Steve surprised everyone by releasing his very first solo album called British Lion. This wasn't a sudden idea. It actually started years ago when Steve was working with a band that had the same name. He wrote songs with the lead singer Richard Taylor and guitarist Graham Leslie. Even with Iron Maiden's busy schedule, Steve and Richard stayed in touch, and the music slowly came together during breaks from touring. The album is full of hard rock, inspired by the 1970s, which was different from Steve's usual work with Iron Maiden. He called it a side project because he's always felt more at home working with a band rather than alone. Steve didn't stop there. He said he wanted to make more albums and go on tour with British Lion. The band played many shows in small clubs across Europe in 2013, 2014, and 2016. Then, in September 2016, Steve announced they would release a live album with recordings from those tours. Later, on January 17th, 2020, British Lion released their second studio album, The Burning, adding another exciting chapter to Steve's already incredible career. In 1984, Bruce married Erica Jane Barnett, but their time together was short, ending in 1987. Soon after, Bruce found love again with Patrice Patty Bowden, a caring psychotherapist. They built a life together in the Chiswick neighborhood of London, where Bruce had lived since 1981. For almost 30 years, they shared many happy moments and raised 3 children. But in 2020, quietly and sadly, Bruce and Patty separated. That same year, tragedy struck when Patty passed away in an accident at home. It was a heartbreaking time for Bruce and everyone who loved them. Today, Bruce lives in Paris with his partner, Liana Dolce. Though many things have changed, Bruce stays busy with music and his many passions. Music runs deep in Bruce's family. His son, Austin, has made a name for himself as the lead singer of the metalcore band Rise to Remain. When that band ended in 2015, Austin formed a new group called As Lions. Bruce's other son, Griffin, also found his way in music, starting behind the scenes as a stage carpenter for Iron Maiden, then stepping up as the lead singer of the hardcore band SVPEs. Even Bruce's cousin, Rob Dickinson, was a frontman for the alternative rock band Catherine Wheel. Later, Rob followed a new dream by restoring classic cars and starting his own business. Bruce has always spoken his mind, not only through music, but also about life. In a 2012 interview, he shared his conservative views and doubts about the euro currency. Even though he lives in France, Bruce supported Brexit and voted for the UK to leave the European Union in 2016. But later, he also expressed frustration about how Brexit made it harder for British artists to tour Europe. Bruce's life hasn't been without health battles. In 2015, doctors found cancer at the base of his tongue. Bruce fought hard through 7 weeks of chemotherapy and radiation. Thankfully, the cancer was caught early, and by May of that year, he was declared cancer-free. This tough experience didn't slow him down one bit. Another big love for Bruce is flying. In the 1990s, he earned his pilot's license in Florida and later became a certified airline transport pilot. He flew as captain for Astraeus, a UK charter airline, for many years. Bruce even helped promote the airline and appeared in safety videos. When Astraeus closed in 2011, Bruce took a new path and started his own company, Cardiff Aviation Ltd, in Wales. The business grew quickly, creating jobs and even thinking about launching its own airline. In 2015, Cardiff Aviation signed a deal with Air Djibouti, and Bruce proudly flew the first flight from Cardiff to Djibouti in 2016. Thanks to his success, Bruce was invited to speak all over the world at universities, aviation events, and innovation conferences. He shared his story to inspire others. Even with so much going on, Bruce stayed close to music fans through radio. From 2002 to 2010, he hosted Bruce Dickinson's Friday Rock Show on BBC Radio 6 Music. The show became a favorite for rock and metal lovers. When the BBC ended the program in 2010, Bruce gave a special last broadcast in honor of the late Ronnie James Dio, finishing with a powerful song for his listeners. He also hosted Masters of Rock on BBC Radio 2 from 2003 to 2007. Years later, Team Rock Radio brought back some of his shows so fans could enjoy his unique style again. Bruce's talent for storytelling didn't stop at singing. On the road with Iron Maiden, he tried writing a novel. This led to the creation of Lord Iffy Boat Race, a funny character from the British upper class. Unlike his carefully planned songs, Bruce wrote the book without a set plan, letting the story grow naturally as he went along. Behind the scenes, the early years of Iron Maiden were filled with tension. The clash between Bruce and Steve Harris, the band's founder, played a huge role in shaping the band's sound and spirit. Their sometimes rocky friendship showed that even people with strong differences can find common ground and create something truly amazing together. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.